So, 3-day fast is now complete. At least what was supposed to be a 3-day fast. So for those of you that are first timers on this channel, I had just put in my last video that I was going to do a 3-day fast for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for this week, because I feel like I needed to spiritually find myself in a better position than what I was in before. And today I just want to go over all the different things that I experienced while I was doing that 3-day fast and how it went, things that I learned, things that I need to do better on, so all those different things. So that's what we're going to go over today. I guess if we can go day by day. We start with day one first. Actually, let's go back before this fast even began, because I will say that this week since I made the last video has been very chaotic. A lot of stuff has happened. Some of those things I'll tell you guys about, like I went to the doctor, got my labs done, and found out that I am in decline of health. I'm not gonna go into detail on the different things that I found out, but these are things that I can fix. It's just I really see how much I was really declining in general as a person, because my health was declining. Like I said, spiritually I was declining, and it really made me realize that I needed to make a lot of different changes in my life. Structure is definitely needed, way more now than ever before. But yeah, that was a big thing for me. I also got my brother's graduation coming this week, so that's something that I needed to prepare for. And then again, with this fast I was doing this week, that's something that's also been on my plate. So, and there's other stuff too, but like I said, I don't want to get too deep into the stuff that's in my personal life. But yeah, I guess we can get started on day one. So on day one of my fast, I feel like was probably the easiest because it was Memorial Day and me and my wife were both at home. So I was able to stay busy. I stayed busy talking to her because, like I said, during that fast, I did not watch YouTube. I didn't get on social media. I ate very strict. I decided to go with just a whole food fast instead of doing like a Daniel's fast. But I learned something about that, which we're going to get into a little bit later. Yeah, the first day was really easy in comparison to the next 2 days. I did like a journal. Like I was talking to you guys before, I was going to like journal a little bit. I didn't journal as much as I thought I would, but I did write a little bit every night about what I felt, how I felt that day was going. A few days before, we had this meal. It was like salmon, rice, and creamy garlic shrimp. And that creamy garlic shrimp had like half and half in it. So I had that. And I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but at the same time, like I'm really big on, if I'm doing something, I want to do it correctly if I'm going to do it. And whenever I end up messing something up at all, then I'm always like, okay, well, you failed this entire thing because you didn't do it to the point, the T that it was supposed to be done at. So that's how I was looking at that on that day. But outside of that, and then again, with the whole compromising with my mind, like my mind kept trying, I would just be like doing stuff randomly, and my brain would be like, okay, let's go get a cookie. I'm just like, come on, like you can't have cookies right now. So it would just be stuff like that that would constantly, I would see myself struggling with. But yeah, that was pretty much on day one. Like I said, I was out most of the day. We was out doing what's it called? We was out running errands and stuff like that. So I wasn't really home a lot to actually get the full effect of not being able to watch YouTube and being just sitting here and not doing anything until day two. Now, when day two came around, my wife was already going back to work. My daughter's now out of school. So it was really just me and her here all day. And I had to really start to think creatively because, again, usually if my wife is here, it's easier because we can go and do things around the house and stuff. And I can still do things around the house on those off days too, which I did. But it's a lot less compared to whenever she's home and we're doing things together. So I had to get really creative about how I was gonna spend my day. And then I also had to get really creative about how I was gonna keep my daughter busy and not getting bored. And you know, when kids get bored, they get into random stuff, and then you got to go inside there and find out they're doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing. So I had to keep her busy also. I will say that the compromising part that I had on Monday wasn't as bad as Tuesday. I feel like my body kind of sat into the fact that I was going to be on a strict diet and sweets were out of the picture and certain foods were going to be out of the picture. So I didn't struggle with that on day 2. But I will say I did struggle with being tired. I was tired like all day long. Matter of fact, it was crazy because I woke up and I have an 8 sleep in my room where it's like it keeps your bed cool or you can keep your bed hot depending on what you want it, and it'll read your like night time analytics. Basically it'll tell you like how long you slept, when you went into REM sleep, deep sleep, and stuff like that. And I opened up my app to see how my sleep was that night before, and I got really good sleep. I had like 8 hours of sleep. My HRV, which is your heart rate variability, which kind of tells you if your heart is beating at a good resting rate or if it's higher than usual, was higher than usual for me. It basically said that I was in fight or flight mode basically throughout the night. So that was really weird when I first woke up. But like I said, I had about 8-9 hours of sleep. I got up out of bed, went outside, tried to get some sunlight in my face, and I felt so tired still. Like I was like super tired. I felt like I didn't get no sleep at all. So I went back to bed, took a nap, slept for like 2 more hours after I woke up. That put me at like 12 o'clock, like noon, when I actually got out of bed. And then when I finally woke up from that, I actually felt way better than what I felt when I woke up the first time. So I don't know what that was. I'm starting to think maybe I might have sleep apnea because I was doing research and stuff on it. And this has just been something that's been kind of ongoing for a while. Not the whole me being tired thing, but it's always been weird stuff happening while I'm asleep. So I'm like, it has to be something. So I do think I'm gonna eventually get a sleep study done. But that was really the only weird thing that I had happen on Tuesday. Like I said, I had to get creative. So I did do more Bible reading on Tuesday. I did Bible reading on Monday too, but I stuck to my devotional plan that I had specifically for fasting. But Tuesday I did more actual Bible reading. I made sure that I was constantly thinking about the Bible, thinking about prayer and praying, and thinking about God, constantly keeping myself in his presence while I was going throughout the day. But I do also notice, like, whenever you're hungry, like, you really do get irritated. Because I noticed that whenever I was getting hungry, I would just be more like prone to get upset whenever certain things wouldn't go right. That's something I definitely noticed on day 2. And getting into day 3 was probably, at first it started off the best day, but by the end of the day, it ended up being the worst day. All the way to the point where I consider this entire fast a fail. Because on day 3, I woke up, it was basically the same thing. My wife was at work, I was at home. I came in here, did my devotional reading. When I got to my devotional reading, this is when I feel like everything started to change. So I originally picked out this devotional. It's on the Bible app. For those of you guys who actually have the Bible app, you probably can find it. It's called Fasting to Be Hungry. It's a 3-day Bible plan. I downloaded this plan. Well, I saved this plan thinking that this plan was going to be a plan that was something that you're supposed to read during your fast. But on day 3, I realized this is something that you're supposed to read to know how to fast and the way to fast. Because on the 3rd day, I got all the information on how you should fast. It was talking about how when you fast, as the title of the devotional says, fasting to be hungry. So when you fast, you're supposed to be hungry. And I've always had this kind of like thought of when you fast, you're just supposed to be taking away things that you would normally enjoy, but you can still eat and actually get full, but it's not supposed to be stuff that you're used to eating or enjoying. So that's why I had the whole debate on whether I should do whole foods or do a Daniel's fast type thing. 'Cause I was like, either way it goes, like this is not stuff that I normally would like to eat. So it's still a fast, but I was wrong in general because I wasn't hungry. Regardless of which one I would have chose, I would have still ate to be full. So I felt like that was something that definitely changed my view on fasting. And it gave a bunch of different stuff that was different than what I thought about fasting. Like the whole thing with prayer and how you should set aside time, and not just a little bit of time, but a lot of time to devote strictly to just God and nothing else. And that was something that I feel like I didn't do. I thought, because, I'm at home, as long as I take time out throughout my day to do an extra prayer or to read the Bible more than usual, then I would be good. But I didn't never take any time out strictly and like an hour or two of time and just dedicate that straight to God. So it definitely made me realize that I need to do more fasting throughout this year. And I want to become a person that fasts throughout the year anyways. I feel like most people that are going to church, I wouldn't say most, but it's kind of common for people that go to church, they just do the fast once a year in the beginning of the year. But I kind of want to become a person that fasts throughout the year. I feel like God has put in me to be a person that needs to be able to do that. So this is not going to be the last time I fast this year, but I do also think, this is something I also saw on day 3. There's different amounts of days to fasting. Like I did a 3-day one. Usually our one in the beginning of the year is a 21-day one. There's also a 1-day fast. There's also a 40-day fast. So I'm going to mix around those different ones. And another thing that God was saying was start slow and then take it up as time goes on, because you got to build yourself up to be able to complete a longer fast. So I'm going to also take that into account too. But by the end of the day, I don't know, I guess I was just defeated because of all the stuff that I read and how I felt like I wasn't doing good in the fast. And then during the fast, I told you guys in the last video, I said, hopefully I'm able to experience something spiritual from this, or just get something out of it in general, like feel God's presence with something. And I know that every fast isn't like that. Sometimes you get fasts where you get nothing out of it, but God just wants to see your faith. But I didn't get nothing from it. Like I didn't feel anything different. And I think that's because of I wasn't really doing the fast how it should have been done. Like I said, I do think I still learned something. I learned how to actually fast. So for the next fast, it should be an actual and official one. But yeah, like I said, I would say the end of the day, but probably like about 4 or 5 o'clock, I was defeated, and I let everything go. By the end of the day, I was eating regular food again. I was back watching TV shows. I didn't watch YouTube yesterday, but I was watching. I've been watching this series called The Chosen. So far, it's really good. If you guys haven't seen that, I recommend it. It's definitely really good. But yeah, that's what I was watching yesterday, and I was trying to stay away from TV completely, but I was watching that yesterday. So I'm kind of marked this fast as a fail, kind of. Definitely going to be doing another fast. It probably will be a couple months because I have a lot of stuff coming up at the end of May, a lot of stuff coming up in June, and I feel like trying to do that stuff and balance a fast is going to be really difficult for me. So I'm gonna give it a couple months. My birthday's in July, so I think I'm gonna fast around not close to my birthday, but before my birthday comes up. Birthday's like mid-July, so you guys can look forward to that, because that would definitely I will definitely get back to y'all on how that fast went whenever I do it. Like I said, right now I'm really trying to fix my structure. I'm walking daily because my health, I didn't realize how much I really neglected my health until I've seen my lab results. And I'm not a person that really likes to neglect my health that much, because when I was in school, like, I was very athletic. I was one of the strongest people in my senior year class. So I don't like to be super out of shape. And I probably right now am the most out of shape that I've ever been. So I've been really trying to focus on getting myself back in shape. I've been taking it slow because I don't want to go all in and then get burnt out and then not continue it throughout the rest of the time. I want it to be something that is long-term, not just for a season. So right now I'm walking on the treadmill every single day. More conscious about the different stuff that I eat on a day-to-day. That doesn't mean that I won't go out every now and then and eat fast food. It doesn't mean that I won't have a sweet every now and then. But there's just some things that I'm changing about what I do, and then focusing more on healthier stuff throughout the day and throughout the weeks and months. So that's where I'm at right now. But yeah, that's all I got for this week. Like I said, it's 3-day fast, fail. We'll be getting back to it. And yeah, that's all I got. Peace out.